I have a rather unusual way of dealing with my inner critic, and it occurred to me that knowing about this might be useful for somebody out there. It has been for my students and some of my consulting clients. So, by inner critic, I mean those voices inside you that discourage you from doing things, that put you down. And I'm going to use writing as an example, but keep in mind this can be applied across many different kinds of experience. So, this doesn't happen to me anymore, but in the past, let's say I would sit down to write something and a mental voice would say, "You don't know what you're talking about. You need to be able to substantiate this and you're not. Where's the facts? Where's this? Where's that? Blah, blah, blah." And, that's discouraging. You'll never get this published and stuff like that, right? And there's other ways we put ourselves down too. So the really poisonous part is when we become our own inner critic and we take on that voice ourselves. So it seemed to me a long time ago when I first started studying psychology and starting to write that we needed a way to step back from it because it doesn't originate with us. Somebody we grew up with, they themselves had a fierce inner critic and it got into us in one way or another. So now we're carrying it. And so this is a reason, by the way, that I don't really like, and they're useful for some people. This is probably just a personal preference, but in social media, I see these little messages, "You got this," and stuff like that, these rah-rah messages. And I'm like, I got this? Well, what if I actually got that, actually? These don't work for me. I mean, the more you try to press down your inner critic and bury it under affirmations, the stronger you're making it. What we repress gets stronger. So what I decided to do was a little imagination exercise so that I could actually confront and deal with and manage my inner critic. So I used something that Carl Jung would call active imagination, and I just kind of got into a daydreamy state, asked for the inner critic to come into my thoughts and imaginings in whatever form it wanted, however fantastical or disturbing, and then we could have a conversation. And I could ask it things like, what are you trying to get here? Are you trying to protect me? Are you worried that something I'm doing will become known and public and circulate in professional circles and I'll be open to some kind of criticism? Is that what you're doing? You're trying to protect me, or what's going on? So I would give it a chance to speak. And then once it had, I would negotiate with it. So I remember telling years ago my inner critic, look, I'm at the draft stage of this piece of writing. And as Hemingway said, all first drafts of anything are shit anyway. So I don't need you to criticize me while I'm writing, but I think you could do a really good job as an editor if you're specific about recommendations. So let's try that out. And if you keep muttering while I do drafts, then I'll not only ignore you while I'm writing the draft, I'll ignore you at the editing phase too. And you'll get nowhere. So not repress, ignore, right? So gradually my inner critic softened up and was helpful and could be enlisted. So after all, it's a part of you. It should be involved. So this is possible to do in other arenas as well. You could try it out at work. You could try it out in relationships, all kinds of things. So give it a go and see if it works for you. I hope it does.